In today's day and age, consumers are obsessed with the latest versions of up-and-coming technology in a wide variety of categories. These technologies can include anything from healthcare devices to cell phones, microwaves, and other devices that have ever-shortening lifespans.
Today, it seems with every new cell phone or laptop on the market, only a short time later, a new and improved version of that same device is available. With this rapid cycle of new technologies, efficient reuse and proper sustainable recycling methods are imperative.
Products classified as electronic waste or e-waste come in many shapes and sizes. They range from desktop computers, keyboards, printers, televisions, fax machines, medical equipment, industrial machines, and mobile phones. With models being updated every year, sometimes multiple times a year, the increasing disposal of e-waste has skyrocketed to the point where these devices are crowding landfills across the world.
Oftentimes, developed nations will lack electronic recycling laws, such as the United States, will sell millions of abandoned electronics to developing nations in parts of China, India, and West Africa, who believe profit will come from reselling them. In China, over 300,000 tons of earth metals are produced for electronics. Each one of these tons yield about 75 tons of acidic wastewater composed of heavy metals, carcinogens, and radioactive materials.
In the 21st century, new forms of communication have played a role in how people facilitate business and interact with one another. The Environmental Protection Agency estimates that 438 million new electronics were sold in 2009, a number that doubles the amount sold in 1999.
With Americans seeking more compact and efficient technologies, the use of bulky desktop and laptop computers is declining. Of all the electronics collected for recycling in 2009, an estimated 18 million units were computers. In order to better understand the small-scale electronic recycling process, we went to tour the FRINQ facility in Southeast Portland and speak with Director of Public Services Colleen Dixon.
My name is Colleen Dixon, and I'm the Director of Public Services at FRINQ. So we have 3 directors of the organization, myself, a Director of Operations, and a Director of Production. So we make up the management team of the organization. And FRINQ has about 37 employees and about 400 volunteers a month. And what we do is we take technology that people don't want and we either ethically recycle it or we refurbish it. So we're turning it into technology access for folks, job skills training, community education, all in exchange for community service. So most volunteers here are volunteering 24 hours of their time to earn a computer.
Wow.
Yeah. There's all sorts of people here for all reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of
And
it.
how did you get involved with it? How or why?
Oh, personally?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I have a background in media literacy and technology access, so just feeling, I feel really invested in kind of the digital divide and the sense that everyone has access to the internet or technology, and it's not true.
Yeah.
It's like that's really disparate depending on who you are and where you are and how much money you have. And yeah, so as a project that really works to give people access to technology.
Right. So you said you either refurbish technology here or ethically recycle it. What does ethically recycle mean?
Oh, yes. This is a good question. So ethically recycling means that we're following all of our vendors, so all of our downstream vendors, to see where the materials are actually going. So we research, well, first off, what we do is we take materials that we're not going to reuse and we break them down into the smallest components. So we separate out, we take apart, computer towers, all sorts of e-waste, and we separate out all of the metals, the circuit boards, the wires, the hard plastics. And then we send those items to downstream vendors. So other vendors will ship them out. So vendors who recycle plastic, steel, all those different things I described. And so then we do our due diligence in researching all of those vendors to make sure we know where stuff's going.
Right.
So I'm sure you've heard those horror stories of when people recycle, it just goes in some big barge and gets sent to the ocean or to India or something like that.
What do you see in the future for Free Geek at all in regards to how the electronic waste situation in our country is going? Like, you know, do you see it improving, and then I guess if the electronic waste situation improves, then Free Geek kind of goes down because there's not as much of a need for you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you see happening, or what would you like to happen?
It's interesting because I think right now we're really shifting towards mobile technology, so laptops, tablets, phones, things like that. So I think that our role for the next few years is really going to be recycling, as people are getting rid of larger pieces of hardware, desktop computers and things like that. Refurbishing and sales, though, is how we fund what we do.
Right.
So the majority of our funding comes from selling things that we're able to resell or fix. And so it puts us in a unique situation that we're getting a lot of stuff that people don't want.
Yeah.
And so how are we going to continue to fund?
To sell it back.
Yeah. And that's definitely a challenge
right
for
now.
sure. And I think that it'll shift over the next few years because I think people are kind of getting rid and cycling out their, you know, desktop computers. And then in a few years, we'll start to get more laptops and tablets and things like that. Things in the right hands.
Yeah. So would you say that Free Geek is more focused on the environmental aspect of recycling technologies, or the providing technology to people who aren't available to it?
Yeah.
Or is it an equal balance?
I think it really started with the technology access piece, and that's kind of what the mission is grounded in, is really giving computers to people.
Right.
But I think the environmental piece is definitely there and is just built more and more as clearly we come with all the stuff that we can't end up reusing. So what do you do with it and make sure that it's dealt with? So this is where donations come in when folks bring us things. Come on in. They get tallied and weighed so we know how much incoming material we have. We weigh everything coming in and going out. Anything with data goes into our secure data area, so it's this caged area where we're wiping drives, anything with personal information. We wipe it 3 times, and if we can't get all the data off, if it's damaged for any reason, we punch a hole in it and destroy it. So this is our sorting area. And this is where materials are getting sorted through to kind of figure out where they're going to go, if they're things that are going to be recycled or that we could sell. This, again, everything without data on it.
So what is this, if I may ask? Is this just telling them what parts? You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody who does these jobs are volunteers? Yeah? Or?
So there's staff supervising at every area, but it's a lot of volunteers as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the first where the computer would go.
Well, it's going into the cage, the last cage.
The data.
So this is everything we've decided we're not going to keep. This is our recycling warehouse program. So we have 2 areas where we do recycling. We have the table and the bench. So at the table is where we're taking apart small items. So we're disassembling them to separate all the pieces. And then at the bench, this is where we're primarily taking apart computer towers. So we're popping them open, and you can see how we're sorting them. So you can see all the power supplies down here. And then we've got the thin wire, ribbon cables, cases. Yeah.
So how long does it take one, say, desktop computer to kind of move through this whole warehouse or get disassembled?
Well,
Or
if
does that
it's getting
depend?
recycled, it just depends on the person
Yeah.
and how quick they're moving. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. They're probably, probably average like
Yeah.
one every few minutes.
Our research has proven that electronic waste is a growing issue that is not being addressed as efficiently as it should be, with no recognition in official environmental documents, such as Portland's Climate Action Plan. Electronic waste is easily brushed under the rug, while consumers are distracted by the newest product on the shelves.
We hope to encourage you to properly recycle and reuse your electronic devices, as well as to inform others about the risks stemming from improper disposal. Without awareness and proactivity, the future of our planet and general health looks grim.